what it do, what it do, what it do. On a Wednesday evening, Black Milwaukee stand up, Black America stand up. 414 versus everybody. My name is Kevin Barnes. Welcome to another episode of Outlaw Radio, the Minorty Report. The Minority Report, reporting live from Black America. This is what we do. Mondays, Wednesdays, as consistent as I could possibly be. But I do need everybody to do me a favor, which is share the show. Share the show. Share the show. Give it likes. Follow it. Go to our sorry ass YouTube page, right? Woo! Everybody has a platform. I prefer to keep mine unique. Because it's definitely given from a unique perspective in terms of being a man of color, a member of the community, OG, right? As my cousin once referred to me, a law-abiding citizen, a brother who once dived deeply into the life, but chose to change the game. He is I, and I am him. My name is Kevin Barnes. Welcome to the show. There's a number attached to the show. 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. It is scrolling across the bottom of the page, actually, along with my Cash App and EPU Personal Defense, EPU SDS.com. Get with Fletch. Get with the homie. Learn something today. Okay, so it is the Minority Report. There's a reason for everything, right? And a lot of times situations spark conversations, if you will. And the time that we are living in certainly is sparking conversation. Because whether or not you are a person who is like politically affiliated, whether you're a person who's like extremely opinionated, or you're a person who's very well read or very well cultured, we kept saying on the show the point of this election was to kind of maintain the status quo that we thought we had as a democratic system. And it was like one of them things that sparked conversation. So people were saying, well, no, it's not really about him trying to change democracy or our system. It's about the country needing change. And then there were people like myself, who are people of melanated skin tonage, who felt like, no, we have a lot of things to consider here if we're going to get behind somebody. Like if we're going to participate in this system, which is very controversial in itself. A lot of us feel like we should not actively participate in the American political system because they cite the Electoral College and all kinds of different things. So what actually happened is Donald Trump won. And they tried to sell the narrative that it was mostly like it's our fault, Black people, in particular Black men. Well, we talk in real absolutes on the show, so we kind of debunked that because overall, Black people voted for Kamala. There was a rise in Black male votership. Do not get me wrong. There was a slight increase, but it was overplayed and overstated. Okay. So when I look at my people, men and women, the first thing I'm going to say is it ain't our fault. even those of us who went with Trump as Black people, if you look at who voted and how we voted, when we talk about the actual numbers, we did what we were supposed to do. Latinos, I'm side-eyeing you. My Latino brothers and sisters, how can you actively get behind an individual who, number one, made a joke of y'all a long time ago? Remember when he had the whole taco salad He was like, I love all my Mexican employees. I love all my Latin. Okay. So you're a joke too. To him. To him. But now we're facing potential mass deportation, Kamar.
Mm-hmm.
And did you hear the other night when I said, well, how would they track these individuals? They said, well, they're going to get the people who were illegal that voted. So all you Latinos who voted for Trump
voted to send your own people home.
And damn near maybe you.
Yep.
Come on now. By the way,
Kamar. Hey, you know what I noticed though? Like I remember when I was working at that pallet company. You know what I mean? There was a lot of Mexicans that worked there.
I remember that.
One of the things that I noticed about them is, and I ain't saying all of them like this because there was some cool ones too, but a lot of them would come up there and they would act like they were white. Like they would be more cool with the white people more than they would with the black people. You know what I mean? Like the white folks at the job really gave a fuck about them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was a crazy dynamic that I used to see back then. You know what I mean? Like they would even actually act funny with us, with the black people. You know what I'm saying? But then they want to be buddy with the white folks. And I think maybe it may be more of that with the election. Like they side with the white dude instead of the black people. You know what I'm saying? It's a complex thing. Like they come over here and I don't know. Yeah. Just what I said.
Welcome to the Minority Report.
With it. But you know what I mean? Hey. Pretty much like they should know, my bad, but they should know Trump don't give a fuck about them either. He said it. He say this shit, you know what I mean? And you know he don't like people. If you ain't white, he don't like. You know what I'm saying? And he always talking about the wall down there. You know what I mean? The border. You know what I'm saying? You know, goddamn well he got a problem with y'all.
Welcome to the Minority Report, by the way. Welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I didn't even get to say my line, right?
I know.
Jump right in on this shit. Goddamn it.
It's
raining shit. It's raining shit. Get an umbrella.
Hey, listen. Let's talk. I want to be able to talk very as honestly and as candidly as we can. So I want everybody to understand that I don't have to agree with you to get along with you. So call a number, hit the chat room. Chat room's already popping. He walks in the chat room. He says, your boy already on it. People still ain't paying no attention. Kenneth Houston said, how you doing, my brother? Kenneth Houston, please share the show. He said, dummies. I don't know who he was referring to, us or them. He said, we are a thorn. Listen, let me tell you something. If you didn't understand the whole message that was being conveyed here from Trump, and you seen it today because he's announced his cabinet, okay? There's no minorities in his cabinet. I think there may be one individual who looked like he may be some sort of Indian or Arab. There are no black people, not even a token nigga. All you buck dancing Negroes who was championing for Trump, nothing. Listen, shout out to Kenneth Houston. He said them. Thank you, my brother. I would, because even if he was directing it towards us, I'd just be like, okay, why do you say that instead of fuck you? Right? Like I'd be like, well, why you say that? But so check this out. He's announced his cabinet. Okay. And I didn't think this was a real thing because I saw it and I couldn't find a definitive source for it. But this white reparations, this thing with education, where he wants to go back now and retroactively charge colleges for enacting what at that time was a government mandate, which was equal opportunity. Listen, I was able to go to schools, white schools, because they didn't have no black kids. And when I applied there, I got extra money for going there. You understand that, Kamar?
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is because the game was already tilted against us. You understand? Like they made that right because so much wrong had been done. Right. So now he's turning it around saying, oh, that discriminated against young white kids. So we are potentially looking at a situation where there could be white reparations. And you niggas still talking about we'll never get reparations. Do you understand? What? Listen, do you understand what you just done? You just turned the keys over to white supremacy. And he's not doing it illegally because you voted him in. 262-202-5131, the Minority Report tonight. Outlaw Radio. Hit us up. Hit us up. Ewok said black people are thorn in white people's side because they can't deport us. These Latinos don't realize when it comes to kicking people out, they first on the list. That suck up shit only works in warehouse jobs when they do extra work. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, and it really don't work then because they had their nigga moments too.
Exactly. And you know, you play. Ice-T made a song a long time ago called "You Played Yourself." Congratulations, you just played yourself. And white women. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing from y'all. I don't want to hear
dragging y'all by y'all here since the beginning of time.
And he is the anti-you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to see no women's lib shit. I don't want to hear about feminism. None of that shit. Take this, like Puffy say. Take that. So, listen, I'm buckling down for the backlash, right? But I don't know that people who jumped out there and whoever you people of color were who gave him the edge. Now, see, I really, once again, the false narrative is that it's our fault because they try to blame everything on us, but it's not. Because in Wisconsin, he lost Milwaukee. And I'm here to tell you, in the state of Wisconsin, which is 86% white, in the state of Wisconsin, which is 86% white and only 8% minority, and damn near 90% of that 8% lives in the southeastern corner of Wisconsin. Basically, Milwaukee. You can add all racing, all that shit. It's Milwaukee. The city's 44% black. So he won Milwaukee, but he lost the rest of the state. And it was pivotal to his victory. So what he's doing is he's saying to you, this is white people's time. This is a gilded age for white people. I have the House. I have the Senate. I have money. I have influence. And I can play on my own people's conservative kind of, because they wanted to go back. A lot of white people feel like this country was better when they was solely in control, right? When we had no power, when women had no power, when it was just white men. A lot of them feel like this is when America was in its golden age. And so they've longed for that. They've just, man, this country was so much better when they were colored. And you've just given them that in spades. So congratulations to you with your smart ass. All you brothers and sisters in the South who think, oh, we from the South, we different. No, you ain't, because you guess what? Even those of us who are up north are from the South. My whole family from the South. I grew up in Milwaukee. I'm damn near from Mississippi, Kamar. Based on my parents and my family, and I know where I come from. Yeah, so yeah, you know, y'all ain't so unique. Can we see the big picture? We on that tonight, amongst a bunch of other stuff. Please call in 262-202-5131. It is Outlaw Radio, the Minority Report. Because I feel like at this point, we got to go back into our silos, because Milwaukee is a city of silos. So going back into your silo and try to, plan B. Because it's about to get really crazy, Kamar. I'm telling you, when you see someone who says, I want to attack our country because they did the right thing towards people who they had wronged. I don't know if you followed that statement. He's mad at America for trying to wrong the rights that were done to us. We have been discriminated against. We have been disenfranchised. We did not have access to the same resources that our white counterparts had. So you come up with equal opportunity. You come up with
I just hope Obama. I hope Obama got his notepad out. You know what I'm saying?
For what? At this point, he's what?
Well, no, I'm just saying because we talk about how he was in office for 8 years and didn't do nothing for black people, and here Trump is right away doing shit for white people. So I'm just saying, like, I hope he got his notebook out. You know what I'm saying? Take some notes, player.
Okay, I'm feeling you in terms of Obama refusing to say it would be a black agenda, but Trump letting it be known instantaneously that there's right absolutely a white agenda.
Right.
There you go. This is why you understand? This is why we get This is why. Y'all hit us up. Let us know how you feel. Listen, Ewok says 20% of black people voting for Trump is 20% too many. The fuck is wrong with them? Well,
you right, Ewok. You know what I mean? But, by the numbers, it still ain't enough to take over Wisconsin.
It wasn't enough to tip the kitty, Kamar. Right. It wasn't enough.
But you're right.
It was. Well, I guess if you look at some states where may have possibly could have been pivotal, it wasn't even there. It wasn't even, like we'll never know. We'll never know because we also got to count in the amount of us who didn't vote at all. Or, like we kept saying, who voted for Cornel West and who voted for George Jefferson and Donald Duck and all these people.
All the fucked off votes.
Right. It's power. It's power given away. It's not taken. It's voluntarily given away. And, I have conversations with Dion, pretty regularly because Dion will call me and we'll talk about really what's going on. And, I've heard, all this fear mongering and all this kind of shit. And I don't understand how you could say that it was fear mongering when we now see him enacting the policies that are directly connected to Project 2025. He's enacting them, right? They're very similar. I just want to see what the American people are going to do because it's looking like if white people, y'all have chosen a side and y'all have chosen a side that is anti-us and everybody that look like us. Realistically, y'all have chosen a side. So when this comes down to it, when this thing gets rough, it's your fucking fault. It's your fault. Y'all chose to do this shit because you want to be back into a position that you'll never obtain again. Because I don't care who you put in the White House, you'll never go back to subjugating us again. It will not happen. This time, you really gonna have to kill us all. For real. In today's society, it is freedom or death for black people. Lock us up. There's going to be a riot. You can come into our communities. There's going to be a disturbance. There's going to be a disruption. It will never be what you once had, which is a bunch of niggas under a few honkies that they can control. And you say, wow, it was 200 of them and 5 of them. Why ain't do shit? That will never happen again. So it doesn't matter who you put in the White House. That's why I'm not as stressed out about this shit as other black people. We ain't paying the 5, Kamar. In 2024, we ain't paying the 5. Ewok said, mentally and morally, how could you vote for it? No, racist, it doesn't make sense. I kept saying that this whole time was that, okay, she's not black. You know what? If another black person say to me she wasn't black, she ain't black, I'm going to throw up on their shoes. I don't care if they brand new Gators. I never heard her say she was black. The Democratic Party never told me she was black. But I can see clear as day as that Trump was white. It wasn't no even denying it. He was white. So I never understood how we said, okay, because she's not black, we're going to vote for a racist. I've never seen that in the history of niggerism. I don't know if that's a word. Shout out to Carrie Walker Jones. How you doing, my sister? She said, I realized that a lot of these Trump supporters that are not white need therapy. Maybe that's it. Kamar, maybe he appealed to those of us who have kind of short-circuited because of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's rough in America. And there's, as a person of color, it's a lot stacked up against you, right? To walk a mile in our shoes. And sometimes that breaks people down to the point where they say, that's it. That's all I got, right? She says her Jamaican father made her black. Well, if he's Jamaican, he wasn't black by the definition that we just kind of created. That if you're not a descendant of Black American slaves, you're not black. Technically, you're not black. If there's no lineage connecting you to our people who worked those cotton fields and built those plantations and did everything else they could do to get some money, then you're not black. You're not black. You can't use the word black. You know, if you're Jamaican, you're from Jamaica. I mean, now you can say my family been here years, boy. What are you talking about? You could trace your lineage back to somewhere in Jamaica. There's no way I can trace my lineage to somewhere, anywhere in Africa. And I would never put my spit or my piss or my shit or anything in the mail and send it to somebody and say, tell me what my DNA is. Are you serious? That's a data bank. Why would I send that? Like, you know what I mean? So there's no way for me to find that, Kamar. Now, word of mouth is cool. There's a lot of books you can read, and that's all beautiful. But in reality, you don't really know if what you're reading is the truth. I don't give a fuck how much you love the author. You don't know if it's the absolute truth. You be walking around here talking about you Nigerian, and if the truth be told, your ass is Ghanaian. You from Soweto. Nigga, stop playing. You have no clue. That makes us unique. Our only origins that we can trace that really we can really put into words is from here in America. I don't like Trick Daddy. As like, I mean, let me rephrase that. Because I always say I will never talk down on another black man. I'm not a fan of Trick Daddy like some people. Like, his music was okay. For me, it's cool. I understand his position in Miami. And he says a lot of crazy shit. And he does what he does. But when he said, I'm not an African American, I don't identify with Africa. People done went crazy on that brother. And Kamar, he made it real clear. Like, listen, I hear what y'all saying. I understand that is, you know, somewhere along the line, that's our motherland, right? We know that. But I know nothing of it. When I talked to my grandmother, he talked about his eldest person who could tell him where they were from. She never mentioned Africa. She knew nothing about it. She knew nothing about African culture. So he said, I'm not connected to it. And he said, as a matter of fact, a lot of the Africans that I've met from over there feel like they're better than us. So I am American. Damn, where you hear that shit at, Kamar? Where have you heard that for years? You know what I'm saying? I'm just, come on, man. Like, and people are arguing, Kev, you wrong. It's black people all over the planet. I said, not if they ain't from America. If you're born, you in England, he's black. No, he ain't. He's Nigerian. I'm from Milwaukee. I'm black. He's African. Kerry Walker Jones said, white people see us in skin color. That's it. If you are not white, you're black. I think it's deeper than just our skin color with white people. Because first of all, let me say, I don't think the average wealthy white person thinks about us or gives a shit about us. I don't think the average middle-class white person gives a shit about us simply because they have the ability to isolate themselves from us. Come on, think about it. You get a little money, right? You want to get you a nice little piece of land. You want it to be peaceful. You want it to be, you know, of value. So you got to take your ass into their community, right? And normally you're the anomaly. So, okay, well, we know Kamar, that is Kamar. Like, there's a black guy here now. When they get money, they can go and assimilate into a community far away from us that we don't even know about. And it's all white every day, all day, 365 days a year for the rest of their life. They die in that motherfucker. I'm never leaving Oostburg. So yes, this Trump thing kind of solidifies them, and see, we were right all along. We were right all along. We are what this country needs. Jesse Pierce says the new black media been saying that for over a decade. He said, damn, bro, you know a motherfucker out of town. I didn't know you was out of town, Dion. Yeah, I did know because you told us. Jesse said the new black media has been saying that for over a decade. I don't know if I'm part of the new black media, but I know I started doing this 10 years ago and I was saying that then. Don't make me pull up some blog talk episodes where we had entire shows about the fractured relationship between us and Africa. Because the reality of it is, if you think about it in real terms, Kamar, wherever they took us from in Africa, knew they took us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they knew where they sent us, right?
Yeah.
Did they ever send anybody for us? Did Africa say enough is enough, goddammit? We're going to declare war on anybody who come over here taking slaves. Africa never did that, did they?
No.
So that can,
like in that time, do you think they really would have knew where they was going, what was going on? Like, I don't think black folks that was selling black folks into slavery knew exactly what they were selling black folks into.
okay.
I don't think they understood like how cruel and fucked up it was gonna be. Cause see, they had slavery and shit back then too. You know what I mean? Only it wasn't like it is here now.
The racism,
you know what I'm saying? So
racist.
like once they got away from the continent, you know what I mean? Like they may have not even known what was going on.
Okay, maybe at first, right? But 100 years in,
You know,
how
like,
long did it?
you figure
How long did it last?
Because like, how would you learn? How would they learn? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure the white folks wasn't going back telling them, hey, yeah, you know what I mean? We fucking your people up over there. We raping them and all kind of shit. And they ain't seeing the light of day. And you know what I mean? I'm sure they wasn't going back to tell them that. And there wasn't no media. They couldn't turn the TV on and be like, what? They doing what? You know what I'm saying?
But when you can look at examples of how they occupied the places that they took slaves from and murdered and destroyed villages, and you know, we talking about what's the country where they
it seemed like they
cut the black people hands off and made they still eat chocolate hands to this. There was that was that Belgium? It's one of those countries over there. But you know, I'm just saying, totally understand what you're saying. But I'm saying, and maybe at first, but after a while, you had to know that this is.
Yeah,
but there's
I was just gonna say, and then even after that, you know what I mean? Like they done brought these guns, they done watch them shoot motherfuckers down and all kind of shit, and they ain't got guns. You know what I mean?
So you're defeated.
So I'm just exactly, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering, like I'm just saying, like we say, like they never went and got them, they never went and got the people, and you know what I mean? But like really. That's a tall act. Like, and then, like, if we gonna go get him, where you gonna go? Like, they probably wasn't telling them, like, yeah, we finna go over here to this continent over here that ain't nobody fucking with, really.
Even to this day, though, Kamar, I don't hear them saying anything. Like, let's be honest.
Right.
If you talk to them, they don't have a problem with America because of what America done to them. And right. I know they know now.
Right. And you're right about that.
I know they know now.
You're definitely right.
They come over here and want to align themselves with the oppressor as opposed to us. There's no attempt to even, and if it is, it's economic, I assure you.
That could be, I don't heard people tell me like they more fucked up than we is, right? So that could be like that house nigga syndrome that when they get over here, you know what I mean? They want to be their house nigga. We on y'all side. You know what I mean? Remember I told you I went to the one African fest and it was like damn near every African that was there had a white woman. You know what I mean? I think they really glorify being with the white people because, you know what I mean? They more fucked up than we is. Like, I think we may even we probably lead them in consciousness as far as getting themselves together. You know what I mean? Like you're right, though. They be fucked up when they come over here, but they talk that shit too.
So the whole point was that relationship is fractured.
Right.
That was my whole point.
Definitely.
In a bunch of different ways, right? Historically, you know, even now, geographically, politically, culturally, like it's a whole. There's a division between at what they call African Americans
They
and
rape the
Africans.
culture, man.
Right. So yeah, but so okay, let me check get chat room because while we was talking, it started popping off, and I didn't even notice it, Kamar. Jesse Paris says, "Peace, outlaws from the mile high incomes and legal migrant flooded city. Frontline Black News. Shout out to you and Shabaka." Earl Henning, what it do? He said, "What it do, my brothers? Chocolate milk, love us." Ernest says, "Dissension for attention was a lot of Black people 5 minutes of fame by bringing up petty shit to sound smart. We all know the system is fucked up. When the time comes to make the rational decision, a lot of people held on to nonsensical talking points, divide and conquer at its finest." Well put. I don't disagree. Dion said he trying to hit us. Me and Kamar was conversing. I wasn't even looking at the phone. Hit me back. Jesse says, with the exception of Queen Nzinga of Motambo, now Angola, I would agree she fought the Portuguese for 50 years. Okay. Dion says shit about to get real. Carrie Walker Jones in the chat room. She says, when I was a prison guard, I had the chance to talk to an Aryan leader. And when I stated to him that a true Aryan is blonde hair, blue eyed, he stated yes. So I asked him, what would they do with brown hair, brown eyed people who are fighting for them because they're not true Aryans? If they ever won a race war, he said they would be servants too. So if they wasn't pure Aryans, they'd be servants too. He said Germany or Belgium that she fought. Dion says they were coerced into capturing their fellow Africans, not African Americans, because African Americans was already, we didn't catch us and sell us. We sold out on each other a lot of times. We coon, but they were Africans at that point when they were sold. Carrie Walker, she said that's exactly what it is. Jesse says what's not being talked about as much as the fact that many of us already were here before the transatlantic slave trade occurred. He said, in addition, many of the Aboriginal people here were reclassified as Negro, Black, Colored, and African American. I think for a long time we've been kind of accepting of whatever they wanted to call us. I feel like, Kamar, we've never truly definitively defined what we wanted to be called.
Right.
We still argue amongst each other about it. You feel me? Right.
So we ain't even ready to go tell them what to call us.
So as a result, they call us whatever the fuck they want
Nigga.
to. Right. Shut up, nigger. Hey, who the fuck you talking to? You.
Nigger. You talking to you, nigger.
Hard R, right? Dion, what's popping, man? What's going on? Welcome to the Minority Report. Dion, he didn't short it out again. Every time I think Dion got it, he don't. Dion, you got to unmute your phone. He probably at work, so he'll come in when he comes in. He's on the line. But once again, I ask all of you super smart Negroes that felt like Trump was something that we should, even consider. There's been no minority cabinet members named. He's making his own conservative white, like, what they call them, the Fabulous Five. Is that what they call them? No, what was the freshman at Michigan? Fab Five. That's what they was. He's got a dream team of white conservative, rich, and they're finna have a good time. They're finna have a good time, and I want y'all to take note. Courtney in the chat room. Courtney's in the chat room. She said, "Of course, we knew this would happen, didn't we?" I can't say I knew exactly what's gonna happen, but Kamar, I think it's easy to make an educated guess when things look a certain way. You know what I mean? Like if it looked like a skunk, smell like a skunk.
That's a motherfucking skunk, dog.
I don't gotta say maybe it's a cat.
Right. That's a motherfucking skunk.
That is a skunk. Let's get the fuck up out of here, right? Unless y'all want to get sprayed. I just watch this is, and the fact that he's already initiating the movements to start really, and I don't think it's about taking us back to slavery. I think it's about taking us down a notch. I don't believe he's going to put us back into slavery, but I do think he's going to eliminate anything that was leading towards equal rights. Because really, really racist white people feel like equal rights is reverse racism. That's their sentiment. That's how they feel. It's like, I'm gonna kick your ass until your nose bleed, and then when you make somebody come along and make a rule that I can't kick nobody ass till they nose bleed, you be like, well, that's discriminatory against me. How come I can't kick him in his ass when I want to? You limited my freedom. I need reparations. I need fucking reparations. Yeah, congratulations with y'all smart asses. He says, I'm not surprised no so-called minorities have been chosen. I'm not surprised either. I'm making a point of it. That all you black people, and like I said, it's a misnomer, because the reality is we overwhelmingly voted for Kamala. You know what I mean? But those fringe voters who either wasted a vote or didn't vote at all, right? When it could have maybe flipped a state here or there, we don't never know. I'm even hearing right now that people are saying he rigged the election. The margin was too big for me. If it was only a couple thousand votes, then I'd be like, recount that shit. She got her ass trolloped. We don't even need to go back and watch the tape. We all seen the shit in real time. Now, if you find 7 million votes somewhere in a warehouse that wasn't counted, then I'd be like, oh shit, we need to take a look at this. Dion, are you with us this time, or are you pausing? What's going on? He still ain't with us. I got my shit's working.
Yeah.
Right. It's not my shit. My shit's on point. His shit's not working. So because I can hear him, he's just not responding. Let me go to my chat room instead. Let's see. Mama Jenkins, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? She said, good evening, my outlaws. People in Milwaukee still losing their lives due to police chases. And my sincere condolences goes out to the family of the 2-year-old that was killed by the car this afternoon. She said, Dion in Georgia in the woods. That's probably why we can't hear him, because he's out there in the sticks. So thank you, Mama Jenkins. And I forgotten, he told me, he did say earlier in the show he was out of town. But yeah, for some reason, Tuesday was Bloody Tuesday. What, yesterday? And then this morning? It's a car accident where somebody was shooting at somebody. Somebody was trying to run from being shot at and ran into some other people and killed some people. A little kid who was murdered. Yeah, Tuesday. One person dead, 5 shot. Crazy. Let me go back in my chat room. You are definitely right, Mama Jenkins. My condolences to anybody who loses someone. He said Trump says still execute the Central Park 5 after DNA evidence proved all 5 innocent. People don't want to remember. They don't care about the Central Park 5. That was a long time ago. They don't care about the lawsuit that black people won because Trump wouldn't rent to minorities. They don't care about that. They don't care about his 34 felonies. People are saying it's already dismissed. It's not. He was convicted before he was elected. There was a situation where he had more charges pending, and he still has more charges pending, where they said, we're going to come up with this act to see if some of these things were committed while he was president. If so, he has immunity, unless it was done as an official act of the president, which is bullshit. It's just a way to say we trying to figure out how we can get him off some of these charges. Nobody's asking what's going to be done with the 34 felonies. Not even the black people who voted for him.
Nope.
Because they don't care about the disproportionate conviction rates anyways that we have in our court system, in which we're convicted at a higher rate than them. And you name me a black man who got 34 felonies in one trial and he came home. Come on, man. Let's get to it. Got a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Beverly Williams, Mr. Burns, Mr. Kevin Burns, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
How you doing, Miss Beverly? I didn't recognize the number. I apologize. How you doing? You are a friend of the show. You should have my number locked in. My bad. How you doing?
No. You were talking about politics, and of which, I've been putting a lot of posts out there because, we basically are going into a new world order, regardless of who feels we're not. we basically have white supremacists running our government right now. Black people want to say, why do you vote Democrat? Why do you vote Democrat? Well, we vote Democrats because of the fact that they, as an older person, they represent our value system, okay, which is to accept people as they are, and God is the judge, and to basically help those who need help. Republicans is what me, Black, and Latinos don't understand, because there were 500,000 Black Latino eligible voters in Wisconsin who did not vote. But what they don't understand is that the Republican platform does not believe in entitlements. They don't believe in helping the oppressed. They don't believe in, if you have a disabled child, giving you any type of funding for your disabled child. They don't believe, and I'm not saying all Black folks get food stamps, but they don't. More white people get food stamps, but they're going to find out too. They're really going to find out. Anyway, they don't believe in the food stamps and just helping people. They're going to severely cut that. They already had a bill for Social Security called the Fair Social Security Act. They were supposed to vote on that, I guess, today or yesterday, while they're in a lame duck Congress, where they're going to cut some of those Social Security checks. So, all of this BS about, I'm not, and Kevin, you say you're not political. All this BS, I'm just going to say it now, about this, I'm not political, I don't support a party, blah, blah, blah. Folks going to see what these Republicans are going to do. Trump is making a mockery, an absolute mockery of the U.S. government by today appointing Matthew Guest, who was an accused pedophile, as a U.S. Attorney General. You're going to see what he's going to do. Okay? All his cabinet, every person he has appointed so far is either a criminal, they're definitely all racist, okay, or pedophile.
Right.
All right? So, they're making a mockery he's making a mockery of the U.S. government. You have a felon in the White House, and now you have him putting, well, they're not felons, but accused pedophiles and all these other folks on his cabinet.
Well, I want to say this,
okay,
though.
now
Hold on, Ms. Beverly.
What you say?
I want to say this. I'm not politically affiliated to either party, but I'm politically aware. And I'm also a active voter. So what I'm saying is when I cast my vote, but I don't cast my vote based on a predetermined notion about a party. I look at who is the best, who has my best interests at heart as a citizen, as a taxpayer, as a man of color, as a man who has a family, as a man who's getting older now, so that I know that what's going to happen when I'm too old to really work and be, a good worker how am I going to be taken care of? So it's not that I'm anti-political. I'm politically aware, and I think all people of color should be. But I think overall what we should be is informed voters. Like if you choose to be a Democrat, know enough about the Democratic Party and what policies that they're trying to enforce and who's your representative.
Absolutely.
Know enough to be able to articulate that. But don't tell me you're a Republican, and when I ask you why, what policies, and you can't give me an answer, then I say, see, you're an idiot, right? And so that's why I see people trying to toe the line, but a lot of times it's like being in the streets. You got to know what gang you represent, because if somebody step to you and be like, hey, yo, what is you? And you can't. Now you have no help on either side. The enemies and the dudes you false flagging for come after you. So no, and anybody who's a Democrat right now, you have to admit, and I'm glad you called. You're always welcome to call in. You have to admit the Democrats kind of laid a turd in this election. And simply because I think the sister, I call her a sister because she has melanin in her skin, not because I think she's Black. She didn't run a campaign that spoke
to... Well, she is Black, Kev. Anytime, according to the United States Constitution, you're 1/3 Black, you're Black. And that's what Black folks don't need to understand. But in my opinion...
Are Jamaicans Black? I don't know that. I'm a foundational Black American, meaning, and we just had this discussion, we say it all the time, I'm a descendant of those Black people from the South who were slaves, right? I'm a descendant of the Jim Crow black people. We don't trace anything anywhere but where we came in the South or on the East Coast by way of Virginia, right? And
well, let me say this real quick, Taz. Folks, the African diaspora, okay? All black people of color originate from Africa. You understand me? They came on the slave ship. They call it the African diaspora because some of them went to the north, right. Some of them went to the south. Okay, that's what happened. So yes, like Jamaican folks.
Well, they wasn't black. They wasn't black when they got on them slave ships. They was African. They didn't become black.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the people are African, people from the motherland.
We are descendants of Africa.
Doing the African diaspora.
I know about the diaspora.
Okay, they sent some to South America, and then of course our ancestors came to, as far as we know, North America. Okay, that's where we at.
Well, yeah, but once again, if you tell me your parents were from Germany, and then I say they were German. If you tell me my parents were from Italy, I say they were Italian. If you say my parents was from Mississippi, I say you were American. That's the way I look at it. And so,
well, I understand what you're saying, Kat. But let me say this to you, and I'm not gonna hold you on long. I know you have a long show.
Well, I always got room for you, Miss Beverly, because you always got so much going on. So
okay, let me say this. Let me say this. It's a lot that's getting ready to happen. When Trump takes office, and some folks are going to be shocked. I'm not, and we're going to have to get back out there on the streets.
Okay. Similar
to these foreign countries when they're trying to get rid of these dictators and all of this. Okay. Now we know Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. They were in their 20s. Okay. They were in their 20s as young revolutionaries. We need these young folks to understand their history and to understand what's happening because they are the foot soldiers in America. They are our foot soldiers. We can't have folks in their 50s and 60s and up going out here marching, although we will. Okay, but we need our young revolutionaries, okay? And we need to fight by any means necessary. We're going back to Malcolm X. You understand me?
They got to learn how to read.
Because this is some serious stuff that's going on. Trump, just real quick. Trump just came out, and it's on young people. I call it young people social media. Okay, young folks who are aware. I call it their social media. It just came out where Trump said the white folks need their reparations.
That's what just got talking about that.
For not being, I don't know if you read that or not, Cal.
Yeah, we just got done talking about it. For not being allowed.
You said what now?
We just got done talking about it.
Okay, yeah. Well, white people need their reparations. No, mofo. We need our reparations for our ancestors building America. It is time for black folks to come to the realization. You can't take away affirmative action. You can't take away diversity, equity, and inclusion where women all over the country who are working in those departments have lost six-figure jobs. Okay, six-figure salary jobs that they worked their behinds off for. Black women all over the country. Black students all over the country are losing funding with their scholarships and having to drop out of college because Trump and the megas are taking away the diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that put them in those schools. So a lot of times, unfortunately, in our culture, it's self-preservation. People trying to survive, whatever. Okay, but it doesn't hurt folks until it affects them. Okay, that individual. But folks need to really look and see what's happening here. Okay, and they need to get ready for the Black Revolution, in my opinion. Now, my friends who are my white brothers and sisters, liberals, they're calling it the resistance. Okay, this is no joke. This is no joke. And folks need to get ready because Trump's getting ready to put some hurt on black folks and oppressed folks in this country.
Yeah.
And people need to get ready. They really do. And that's just my opinion. Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. And we don't even have I would never even like turn into a thing where you and I were going back and forth. because we agree on so much that we don't have to really discuss what we disagree about. So,
Right.
it's always respect there. So and I'm not one of them black people who looking for an argument with my own people. And one thing that
Right.
bothered me about this whole election was how divisive it became amongst us, which is another thing we said early on Outlaw Radio, which was I was just appalled at the way we went at each other. As soon as she announced,
what
as
happened,
soon
in
as
my
she
opinion,
announced her
Tab,
candidacy, we went
go on.
balls to the walls against each other.
Yeah. In my opinion, and you know, Kevin, I'm not trying to interrupt you talking because you're kind of low, and it might be my phone. So I can't, hear you completely.
Okay.
But I want to say, what Trump did is he used psychological warfare. It was psychological warfare. Okay. And now I'm gonna be honest with you. Although I claim, I claim that, well, I am a Democrat. I'm angry with them too. I'm gonna be honest with you because I feel that, excuse me, all white folks, and I'm gonna say it, the media, Republicans, Democrats, Green Party, all of them, okay, they normalize white supremacy, in my opinion. I'm angry with them. Okay, I'm angry with Biden for even sitting down with Trump. They're always trying to take the high road. No, he would not have come into my White House while I was there because he's a felon and a white supremacist. See, they normalize white supremacy. They normalize it.
Okay.
And then they use psychological warfare. And black folks, some of them fed into it. And then you have, which I didn't know about, Kevin, you may know about it. I talked to someone, I'm not going to say it, and she said some stuff to me that was just shocking. That some of these black folks have been feeding into on the dark web, whatever that is. I'm old school. I don't know what dark web is. Anyway, I don't, and I don't want to be on. But the dark web, and Trump said he's going to give $5,000. I'm like, when? When did he say this? Because every rally he had, he looked like a dumb, ignorant piece of nothing and talked about.
There's so much to be said about him, but at this point, I think right now what we got to do is really buckle down and get ready for what's about to happen, y'all. Shout out to Miss Beverly. We lost her. Dion said he's gonna have to chat. Stay in the chat room, Dion, if you can't get through. Dre says, I hate to say the last minority that had power was Obama, and he didn't do anything for us. So I don't have any faith in minorities in power producing change. Mama Jenkins says Trump is gonna fuck everything and everybody up because he's a fucking lunatic, and all those pissy ass old KKKs needs to choke. That's why they be at you, Mama Jenkins. That's why they be banning Mama Jenkins. Earl said we know why, because he's white. Jesse said what Ewoks keep leaving out about the Central Park Five is it was Democrats who charged and convicted them young men, not Trump. He wasn't even an elected official. He wasn't, but he was a very rich individual who had a lot of influence, and he actually bought a billboard and a full-page ad in the New York Times that said, let's bring back the death penalty and get rid of these dudes, which added to already the paranoia of black men being profiled in New York City and murdered and hounded by police officers. Is well documented. He's a very pivotal. He was a very influenceable, even then. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. It is Trump casinos, Trump Plaza, and Trump towers. Listen, he had sway. But the fact is, he came out with and induced all this hype, and they were convicted, but they were innocent. So you could say the Democrats didn't charge and convict them. The justice system did. And so Trump said, no, they should be murdered. You can't, we shouldn't give him a pass for that. He still won't even apologize for it after they've been proven innocent. So how you still making excuses for it? Said we've been had racist white supremacists running the government. I agree with that. I don't think the government has ever been pro-black. Kamar, I don't think it's ever been. We never had a president talk about power to the people. Yeah, that's what. Once again, this was our argument with when it became she's not black, and I'm like, okay, when did we have When did we have a black president? When did we have a president that did? We had a black president who didn't do nothing for black people. Kerry Walker said the most important thing all of them overlooked is the fact that he is trying to change the system of government so that he has ultimate power. That's dangerous and stupid. We did a show where we talked about why this election was important. Remember, Kamara? I said, is it personal? Is it that you're forward thinking? Or is the biggest threat that he was going to destroy the democratic system as we know it? And people were saying, we're not even a democracy. That's what they were saying on the show when I was asking the question. I be worried about the wrong shit. Said, right, more white people get welfare and food stamps than any other group in this country. He's agreeing with Miss Beverly. We all know that. Ace Cooley in the chat room. What it do, homie? How you doing, my brother? He said, yes, yep, the Democrats did this to themselves. Dion said, Trump about to give white people reparations. Ernest said, Kev, you can't split the ballot because of values because Trump has dictatorship over all Republicans. Okay. I don't know if I insinuated that or not. He said she's Brahmin, East Indian. Okay. I didn't want to talk about whether or not she's black. He said out of Africa is a theory, not a fact. Out of Africa, he says. Restitution and reparations aren't the same thing, Dion. Yeah, they're having a conversation. Dion said, motherfucking stupid as hell. Motherfuckers should have read Project 2025. He said, we need to be more like the deacons. Which deacons? The deacons of defense? The old school deacons of defense we talking about from way back? People call others motherfuckers and other names can't intellectually debate or converse. It's very immature. I read the Mandate for Leadership, otherwise known as Project 2025. Who called somebody a motherfucker? What did he say, Kamara? The Piccolo player is a motherfucker. Who called my Piccolo player? The man sitting next to the man who called my Piccolo player a motherfucker. Classic Robin, what was his name? Shit, I'm fucked up. Robin, you know what I'm talking about. Popeye dude, big black Robin is ain't Robin Williams. What's the black dude name? Fat dude, super funny fat dude with the Popeyes who's in house party. Robin Harris. God damn, I can't even shame on me for not being able to remember that. And I'm a connoisseur of black comedians. He said sad part about it is he was trying to tell him a motherfucker. John Fletcher, how it do? What it do? He said, what up, Outlaw Family, EPU Personal Self-Defense System, LLC. We ready to get y'all ready. His website is on the bottom of the screen. You want to see what the EPU SDS system is. Dion said everyone that vote for Cornell. Dion, oh shit. That is a faux pas spelling. Don't really know what you were trying to say there. A said the white liberal was part of the problem. We keep on getting robbed and bamboozled by the white liberal. Dion said these so-called smart-ass niggas should have never voted for him. He said, hell yeah, Miss Beverly, I agree with you all the way. Kerry Walker Jones, she says, none of them can give legitimate reasons for voting for him. All I've heard them say is they don't want trans in the bathrooms, reading to their kids, and competing in women's sports and economics, something that's 99% aren't even in the right tax bracket. Women were angered by black men that voted for him because their reasoning was simply, the bitch ain't black, she's a whore, she had a white husband, can't no bitch run this country. They all said this while they sat at a table. Damn, she hit us with the paragraph, Kamar. You know it's a long comment when it cut off.
That is.
Right. I was running out of mouth. Asthmatic as a motherfucker. Jesse said it's our choice to vote for anyone we damn well please. No party or candidate has control over our votes. You would think so-called informed voters would understand that. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I don't disagree with that. I think you vote for. That's once again, I'm still the one who's saying, if you're a black person and you voted for Trump, I'm still not mad at you. But what I will say to you is, when he started fucking up, I want you to shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear you at all. When he started enacting all the things he was saying he was going to do anyways, I don't want to hear shit from you. I want you to sit silently and absorb the L, because it's going to be yours to take. Mama Jenkins said, I just don't believe that the motherfuckers is gonna cut Social Security because there's more white people on Social Security than blacks. A reason for saying that is they're the ones who've had all the jobs, just like food stamps. A lot of white folks lost their job during the pandemic and they were getting food stamps also. The system is designed for government to have control and continue to dictate. Miss Beverly, most definitely, she said, I don't know if you hung up, we got cut off, but thanks for the dialogue. I definitely didn't hang up on you. I would never hang up on you, Miss Beverly. Ever, ever, never. It dropped, the signal dropped. So, and you're welcome to call back if you want to. I'm not hanging up on anybody unless they get out of pocket. If you get out of pocket, I'm hanging up on you. Ain't no doubt about that. Jesse said, wasn't the Democratic Party who started the KKK? Well, that's a whole historic shift in at one point what party used to be what and who was who. And then you go through Jim Crowism and you talk about what switches in terms of political affiliations. And so, yeah, at one point, left was right and right was left. That's a short story. You know what I mean? Dion says, Deborah Jenkins Simmons, I'm not going to lie. Everyone that voted need to suffer. Even some of us. It's called collateral damage. See, Dion is still saying he wants people to suffer. Come on, I don't want you to suffer. I just want you to shut up. You muted.
I'm saying, I don't care what you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to suffer. I just want us all to figure this shit out, man.
Right.
So everybody can be happy.
And learn the error of your ways. Because, you know, we always got to have each other's backs regardless. You know what I mean? And sometimes a lesson learned is a lesson earned. Meaning you didn't know what you didn't know until you find out that you didn't know.
Right.
But they say fuck around and find out. You done fucked around and found out. I didn't know. Well, okay. It's just like even religiously repent for your sins and come on home. I did it. My bad. Don't try to stand on no other square saying, well, so no, say it. No, I was led astray. I didn't know, brother. I didn't know. A lot of black people are gonna have to say, damn, we thought we made a mistake. But it's gonna be too late. Be too late. The damage is gonna be done, baby. A says New York Democrats is racist as hell. Look at punk ass Bloomberg. Listen, whoever said that Democrats can't be racist? Why would you ever think any large group of white people ain't inherently racist? I mean, I'm not saying all white people are, but I'm saying a majority of them are. And a lot of them, I don't think they're racist. We have to understand we use words all the time. We throw them around. There's a difference between being prejudiced and being racist. I'm prejudiced. I'm not racist. I'm prejudiced because I would prefer our people to get ahead. I want to see us win. I want to do anything and everything that empowers us as a people, but I don't want to fuck nobody over to get it done. You understand? Come on. So, yeah. So a majority of white people aren't racist, but a majority of them are prejudiced because they have been the majority for so long in terms of power, influence, money, whatever would have you. So yes, they're prejudiced. It's like if you came from a team that won all the time, you'd be kind of like a snob. You wouldn't want to, this loser shit. We don't do this. This ain't the Patriot way. You feel me? This is Jesse. He said the justice system ran and controlled by the Democratic Party. How you still make how am I make once again with all the shit I just said? How would anybody say I'm making excuses for the Democratic Party, brother? I don't think you be listening, man. I'm for real. Like at this point. At this point, I just finished saying there are a lot of racist Democrats.
Just said that. You just said that.
I just said it. I just do. Like he convinces himself. I guess it's just how he primes himself. If you want to just to disagree, brother, it ain't no big deal. There's a lot of people who be like, fuck Kev just to say fuck Kev. Don't make up shit, though. Just be like, fuck him. Don't because you trying to put something on us that's not even our sentiment. And it's really just at this point, it's ridiculous as well as redundant. A says at the end of the day, this whole shit needs to be torn down and rebuilt. He said it's not a democracy, it's a constitutional republic. That's why we in the national anthem. Robin Harris, we figured it out. I'm a little inebriated, couldn't remember that shit. He said, where old Orlando at? Because he'll say that's not what he means. I don't know what that has to do with me. In the national anthem, it says for the republic for which it stands, not for the democracy of which it stands. Yeah, that's how the song go. But I never took I've never, even though they made us sing it in elementary school, Kamar, I always thought that was some bullshit anyways. Like we said the Pledge of Allegiance because we had to.
Right. Hey, look, I remember being in class being rebellious. Like, I ain't saying that. I ain't saying that.
Oh, we make up until the Republic and the bullshit is stand on. Like,
right,
we
yeah.
do that shit. Like, I don't know. Once again, man, like you dealing with some. We've always, black people, I can speak about Milwaukee. There's always been a sentiment among us here that what my mama used to say, she said, it's a fight with a nigga and a white. If the nigga don't win, we all jump in.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was like mid-70s. So it's been a situation up here, man. He said we keep talking about this and the other. We could have settled that after she won. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, Kev, we want them Trump voters to be vocal when he fucks up. Now, don't run now. No, I just want them. You know what? Just like I said, just admit it. I don't want to hear you complain. I guess that's what I should have said, Kamar, to clean up that statement. Thank you, Ernest. I should have said, I don't want you to complain. I don't want you to be like, oh, man. Because I'm like, and that's not even a shrug to say, if you'd voted for Kamala, that wouldn't be happening. You know? Because had I voted for her and some shit went left, I'm sure that they would have came calling and I'd have had to be like this. You right. I did vote for her. She did fuck that up. Right? Like, ain't nobody above what they call it. Nobody is above being approached. Nobody is above being criticized. I don't care how tough, tight, smart, intelligent that you think you are.
Right.
You're not above criticism. And you're not above being held accountable for what you do. I don't care what your party is. I don't care what color you wear, what gang you in. When you fuck up, you fuck up. That's what it is. He said, this man told everything he was going to do, so we should have. This is Dion said, we should have had a brotherhood for a moment just to get her over the finish line. Well, people couldn't associate her with brotherhood. Well, a lot of people couldn't. I'm not going to even say that, Kamar, because once again, the misnomer is that we didn't vote for her or support her.
Right.
Black women overwhelmingly did, and black men did, but there was an increase in the ones who voted on the other side. But overall, the majority of us still, and we showed up.
Yeah.
And we turned out to vote. Okay? He said, Dion said, Kev, don't explain shit to him talking about what the KKK was. That's deflection. I'm just reading him, y'all. He said, I can't take it. Dre Day is in the chat room. Shout out to Dre Day, man. Dre Day been rocking with us for a minute. He said, we really lost before the presidential election when we let the House and Congress go Republican in local elections. He wouldn't be able to move so easy if Republicans didn't have control. Man, I love it when somebody puts something here to make the conversation go forward, because the reality is, I keep saying, now we got to pay attention to midterms. So now we got to turn and say, okay, who's up for representation? Who's going to represent us? Because there has to be something that happens within one of those governing bodies that represents us. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's really turning into white people versus everybody. That's what it looks like to me, Kamar. It looks like this is what Trump is here to say. Nah, it's on. It's white people versus everybody, right? And so I don't know if enough of us are getting prepared for that. A says, thank you, cuz I think a lot of us is tired of all the arguing. Let's regroup and come up with some solution-based conversations. Carrie Walker Jones, she said both parties are a result of the Democratic Party splitting, and Republicans were against slavery, but we all know that's what they stand for now. I think you meant Democrats. Oh yeah, okay. She said, yeah, originally the Republicans weren't against slavery. Okay, good point, my sister. Thank you. Dion says racism is prejudice plus institutionalized power. I don't believe so. I don't believe being prejudiced makes you racist. I don't hate white people. I prefer the company of black people. I prefer black food, black music, black culture. I have a preference. That's why I say racism would entail hating someone or wanting to violate someone because of their color, right? I'm not. I just want my side to win. That's why I say I'm more prejudiced. And the definition is a preconceived opinion that's not based on reason or actual experience. So meaning I don't really have a reason to say why I prefer black people. I just do. Racism is a little bit different. And once again, we can agree to disagree. Kerry Walker Jones just said that. I think she was talking about when I was like, I literally just said Democrats are racist. Earl said, he said, all white people are racist until they show you they're not. I expect the average white man to be prejudiced. I expect him to see me and be like, oh, well, that's different. Oh my God, what is he on? Like what, especially if he's in a community and I come into that community, I want him to look at me and be like, hey, yo, what is he on? Because if he comes into our community, Kamar, that's how I'm looking at him. All's fair in love and war.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got the right to go and throw paint on his house or break his windows or you got to move, white boy, because then that's racist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, if he come in disrespecting and he shows, oh, I'm a big shit because I'm a white guy, then you get dealt with. It is what it is. Know your role. He said, I listen very loud and clear. That's I don't know if you did, brother. Maybe you're looking for something that you just can't find.
Sometimes people listen, but they be listening to reply and not listening to understand.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And like that's a problem. You know what I mean? And a lot of the time you don't know you got it. Like some people have problems that have listening problems.
Listening problems. Well,
yeah, they got a hard time listening to people.
If you're heavily
it's a real thing. I ain't joking. You know what I mean? It's a real
I know.
Thing.
If you're heavily opinionated and you consider yourself well read or educated or informed, yes, you go into conversations thinking I'm gonna hear what he say, but I'm hearing to say so I can shoot him down.
Right. You know what I mean? And you know how the saying go, he who thinks he knows everything knows nothing.
Okay.
Hey, calm down, little homie.
I mean, once again, if you want opposition, I think you got the wrong platform. Because I say this to all black people, regardless of whether you notice or not, I'm not your enemy.
Yeah,
I'm not your enemy.
Take it easy, nephew.
I'm not your enemy. I have nothing but good intention for my people. I don't hate on my people. I try my best. One of the reasons, like I've been accused of pandering to the low IQ North Side black people by a white person. And I don't pander to the community at all. I'm from this community. I'm part of this community. This community made me. What I try to do is come back and put things in terminology in that they can understand. I don't talk above their head. So, leave that where it's at. He said the whole discussion is ridiculous and redundant. But yeah, especially the way you approach it.
Well, hold on. Why are you in this ridiculous and redundant conversation? Why are you sticking around for it?
But the whole point, Kamar, was that
I mean, but if you involved in a ridiculous and redundant conversation, that means you're being ridiculous and redundant too.
Especially when you saying the same shit you always say.
This brother ain't even making no sense, man. Like,
well, the whole point of this conversation, anyways, wasn't even no longer about why she lost or how she lost or any of that. It was about him already implementing some of the things that he said he was gonna do. Like his cabinet.
That's what the conversation is about.
That's what it was about. That's what it was like. Okay, it's already starting. So it wasn't necessarily about that kind of shit or whether she was black or whatever. So he said, no complaints. I ain't vote for him, so I ain't got to say plain shit. Unless you're a Democrat, they're the most unaccountable party. Voters. Dion said, I heard someone said the math ain't mathing. Yeah, I've heard that there's a possibility that people are talking about he rigged it or whatever. Kerry Walker Jones said exactly. It was Congress from dismantling the Department of Education the first time he was in office. He said the first day I come in, it's gonna be a goddamn dictatorship. A says, Jesse, we aren't racist because we don't own shit and we aren't keeping people from shit. As a matter of fact, racism is a form of mental retardation. He said, argue with Dr. Francis Cress Welding and Neely Fuller Jr. They're the ones who came up with the definition, Kev. Ain't they dead? How long they been dead? Once you die, your theories stop evolving. I'm just saying. Listen, you might have been smart as a motherfucker in 77, right? But you died in 78.
Because now you got all the people that was against what you was teaching. You know what I mean? They really trying to kill all the information that you done accumulated. So
well, things have changed.
yeah, you really do. You're right, Kev.
I mean, I'm saying, like, you probably smarting him up. He had this shit in spades, and he died in 78. He missed the whole crack era, everything, right? Like, you missed a whole generation. So sometimes the shit you were saying, I can no longer sit on. I got to look for. I mean, even we talk about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these great leaders, their understanding only goes up to a certain point because they died.
Right.
Knowledge is a foundation. It is to be built upon, not to be dwelled upon. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Somebody gets a basic understanding of something and they passes it on to you. You get a greater understanding. You pass it on to someone else. That's knowledge. It's ever evolving. It's ever changing. I don't know if she's dead. I don't follow her. Is she, Dr. Francis? Is she dead? I don't know. Kamara, is she dead? Okay.
Yeah, I think she did. She passed.
I don't want to put
years
nobody
ago.
in.
I think she passed about 2-3 years ago.
I thought she did too. I thought she passed, a couple years ago. He said, Ernest, she is not like us. She's not culturally. See, you just got done talking about being redundant, and here you go again with the Brahmin East Indian. Like, okay. That's redundant. Earl said, bye, Black. Then they'll see the real. He's arguing with Jesse's arguing with the chat room, Ace and Dion. Kerry Walker Jones said none of them make any sense, and when you call them on it, they become victims. So Nellie Fuller Jr. is still alive. Okay. I don't know. I don't listen to Nellie Fuller Jr. When was the last press conference? Is that a woman? Is that a woman or a man? Kamar? Nellie Fuller. Only Nellie I know made EI.
I don't even know who that is.
I'm joking. I'm just saying, man. I only deal with relevant shit, man. I'm not. Okay. He said, okay, build up on 2. These black people can't be racist, just prejudice. I'm out of entertaining this ignorance long enough. Maybe that's the best thing for you to do.
Peace, family.
Yes. Go in peace, my brother. Go ahead, right? Now, just remember when you wonder why people talk to you the way they do when you say, this is ignorance that we're talking about. We're ignorant. The statement that there's a difference between racism and prejudice is ignorance.
Right.
Okay.
You big dummy. hey, if it ain't no difference, why are they 2 different words? Why is it 2 different definitions?
Man, come on, man.
Take it easy, nephew.
Yeah, man. Be easy, man. Peace to you, man. Peace to you. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm always going to.
Where's Shabaka at?
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe he's spoken to Shabaka and says, I don't know, man. I don't know. Shabaka will probably. I know he probably called me if there was an issue. He calls me all the time, so I don't know if whatever. It's just an example of this is where we end up at, Kamar, when we sit down and try to have real conversations about what's going on with us. It's, oh man, I ain't want to try and hear this shit. I'm gone. Well, right. Bye. Bye. Like
niggas resort to name calling.
Whatever.
They ain't got no scholarship or emotional intelligence.
Man,
nigga, grow up.
Stop it, man. Stop it. I just
is that what they do on their show though? Like they be banging on each other loud and hollering and shit.
Well, I think the fact if you're familiar, and you probably aren't, if you're not familiar with Blog Talk is kind of like a Facebook for people who do shows, right? So like budding really is ground level for starting a podcast, right? And so it's the technology is kind of simple and outdated, but it is a platform where you can get yours off. I started on Blog Talk, but there's a community.
No, I'm saying, is that how they kick it on their show?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like the Side shit, like how Side and be kicking
similar
it.
To that.
Y'all ignorant, you ignorant, niggas, shut up. And
it's similar to that because there's no real control mechanisms. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's a community of people who really are on they're all on each other's shows, and so there's a lot of yelling and it's not a lot of control. Like there's not a lot of management of. Just because the technology is not there for you to do so. Like you can hang up on someone or whatever, but
that's where he need to go back to, man. He probably better in that realm.
Well, he has a StreamYard show too. He does his thing. Like, that's what's funny to me, that you want to come over here and talk shit about me. But it's so many things that if I wanted to critique you on about what you do, I could. But I'm not even that petty. Like, what would be the point of me putting another black man down? What do I gain out of that? What do I gain out of allowing you to just be foul on my shit? I don't gain anything either way. So I'd rather just tell you kick rocks. He said, damn, that brother's an example of these crack babies done grew up. I don't want to. I'm not gonna insult that man. Man,
just talking about insulting people, right?
Yeah, man. Godspeed, man. Go on about your business, bro. Like, it's too much going on here for me.
Like, you find time to find the show at 7:30 on Monday and Wednesday to talk shit. And this is just all of a sudden, ever since the Trump shit. Because, like, yeah. I thought he was smooth as shit all the way up until this.
We have been on a more cordial kind of,
I don't never remember the trolling.
No, it wasn't. It turned into that
before this election. You know what I mean? I don't never remember the trolling.
Before. Yeah, it turned into that. You know,
or better yet, after the election, once it ended. That's where the back and forth started coming. Because we had the show. Remember we had the show when we was talking about okay, y'all, we talking about why did Kamala lose?
Right after. Yeah, right after.
I mean? And then I feel like that was the show where we started having issues. Like, this brother been real smooth all these years up until that point.
Well, there's been some times where he was, I peep everything.
But I mean, he wasn't irate like
no, he ain't been like WWF like he is.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all got stuff that we disagree with. That's cool. But then all of a sudden get disrespectful with it. You know what I'm saying? And now Trump make you feel like you could get disrespectful with it. This old white racist man made you feel like you could get disrespectful all of a sudden because he won the presidential election.
Well, he's saying he didn't vote for Trump, but he's awfully defensive when it comes to Trump. So once again, man, the best thing for you to do is just kick rocks.
That's all, man.
Right. It ain't too much more to be said about that. Shit.
It ain't gonna hurt nobody's feelings. It's okay.
Nah. I mean, yeah, I'm good. Like,
Hell, he come looking for us. Shit.
Shabaka, holla at me, man. Shabaka, holla at your boy, man. Chop it up. Kerry Walker Jones says, I always tell racists that I encounter that they have a mental illness, delusions of grandeur, and tell them to seek help. We talked about one time on this show, is a very long time ago, but we made the kind of most racist people are ignorant, right? Like like really racist people are ignorant because they really have no basis for, their hate or whatever. And it's hate. It's not a preference. It's a hate. It ain't just, okay, this is a white restaurant. It's like, nigga, we'll kill you if you come in this restaurant. Right. That's two different kind of energies. So, but like if you go into the deep South or like the most redneck places, those people who are really racist that have applied the hate part of it, they the most ignorant motherfuckers in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, if you talk to me, like, I see why your ass racist. You dumb as a box of rocks. And most of the time, black people who consider themselves racist are ignorant as well. Just go ahead and say that. Because it's impossible to hate somebody before you even know. And I'm not talking about your preference. I'm talking about hatred, where people end up getting murdered, bombs getting placed in churches, and little girls dying. That's hatred. That's not preference. Because if you preferred not to be around them, they were already separate from you. You chose to go where they were at and commit harm. That is hate. That's not preference.
Right.
And you talking about words, you're talking to a wordsman. I'm not, potato, tomato, whatever. It's all the same thing, man. It's all the same thing. So Earl said Sambo. He called him Sambo. I don't know that brother's a Sambo. He sounds like he's very active where he comes from. Look, locally here, we see that our county executive, brother DC Crowley, um, uh, 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 has passed. They signed off him in the Marcia Nicholson. She's the assistant or the vice president or something. I didn't even know her position existed. They signed a $1.4 billion budget for Milwaukee County. $1.4 billion, and this budget is being championed because it saves services, gives money to the parks, increases law enforcement. Some of the things that they had to do were necessary because of Act 12. So they have to steady invest in law enforcement because that was part of the deal. So you can get the tax break. There is a property tax levy increase, which was 2% per individual, 2.7%. So it'll end up at $7 million in revenue. But my thing is, I didn't hear them address the budget deficit when they said there was a $19 million deficit. I didn't see them address that, Kamar. And so even the $7 million that they predict from raising the property tax levy, I'm still like, well, what happened to the deficit? Was that a lie or what? Because you're not talking about it. But my thing is, when you come and talk to us about increasing taxes and talking about we got to save ourselves, and then it's more increase, but I don't see you or anybody else aligning yourselves with the organizations that could establish the infrastructure to bring in something where the people could gain, and then we wouldn't mind giving you more. All y'all doing is taking. How is this sustainable? How is it sustainable? So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, I got to do some more deep dives because I still want to know how did they address that deficit? It's something to it if you ain't telling me what you did. I looked all through it. I read all through it in the Journal Sentinel. I looked at everything that from Mitchell Park domes, and there's millions of dollars invested in a bunch of different places. And the funny thing is, my conversation with him, brother DC, which he assured me that they didn't forfeit their rights via the tax increase, the Act 12, to really conduct DEI initiatives. I didn't see anything in there about DEI. I didn't see anything in there about, because even as a county, you probably should still partake in some kind of economic development plans, right? So I didn't see anything in there about that. And that, once again, I'm reading in between the lines. It's good to say, hey, we did it. But what did you do? What did you do? I don't hear answers coming from our leaders in terms of reinforcing our community infrastructure, right? Like they came out and said this new program that they're going to invest in, and I noticed how and shout out to him because a little bit helps, but I noticed how they came out and said we're going to help these kids with these cohorts. That's going to curb violence. And then you said there's a property tax levy increase. This seems to me something that's rolling in favor of gentrification as well. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Mama, this is Kerry Walker Jones. She said, I'm going to get my food now before the best places to eat say whites only. You know what? If it says whites only, it's no longer one of the best places to eat.
Straight up.
As a matter of fact, for us, it's the worst place to eat.
They can have it.
They can have, because why would I want to eat where they don't want me? Well, right. You're not spitting on my food.
At least they letting us know now.
Right. Thank you for telling us. Your shit will be closed in 2 weeks.
Yep. So all this black money, you know what I mean, that they talk about is consumed y'all don't get none of it.
Man.
It's okay.
Hang your signs up if you want to.
We starting to come up, we starting to pop out with more restaurants and shit anyway.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, hang your signs up, colored only. I mean, no colors allowed. Oh, really?
Good.
Thanks for telling me.
I can save my money there, right?
You can spend it elsewhere. Because there is such thing called online shopping. I don't never had to step foot in your store. Stop playing with me. Y'all don't want that smoke. Well, we know that our money is what powers this economy anyways. We're the biggest consumers in this country. Nobody can argue that. He said, what I've noticed, Kev, is that a huge part of the country does not want to be part of either of these parties. These are the people that's feeling like we caught up in a trap. As a black man, to hear this man is giving reparations to white people tells me that he has no interest in uniting the country. He used us for the vote to help white supremacy.
Pretty much.
Did we not know that? I'm like, how could you not know that? I feel sorry for your mother. She said LOL. That's good because they don't wash. They meet any. Earl Henny said they don't wash their meat anyway. No Diddy. They don't wash. One of the funniest parts is that they saying now Kamala's campaign is actually $20 million in debt. I guess they was just like, going all in on paying people to do things. And, well, shit, that's her problem. You lost. That is her problem. You know what? This is funny, Kamar. I've noticed in the city now, one of the biggest things is that obviously our economy is in kind of like a really crazy place right now. But there's like traditional store after traditional store that we grew up with that's closing. And now they're closing more Walgreens. I grew up on Capitol Drive, and Walgreens on Teutonia and Capitol was there forever. They tore it down and rebuilt it. You know what I mean? And so they closed that one years ago. I see they're closing the one out here on Appleton now. They're also closing the one on MLK. And so, Walgreens, I guess they're in some deep doo-doo. But people are saying, like, I guess there's a lot of neighborhood people who depend on them for prescriptions and whatnot and this kind of thing. But yeah, the economy is whooping businesses ass, man. And so that's what I'm saying. You don't want to put a sign up now to say no colors allowed. Because you need our money more now than ever. So up. You really don't want to do that. He said, what do you think about the Democrats trying to force Kamala in the Supreme Court? I think Kamala should do whatever they tell her to do. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the one thing she got to look at right now is like, look at all the opposition that she had just trying to do what she did. And there's no need for her to go rogue. The way she got here is by playing the game. And I feel like she's on the side of liberalism. So I feel like you need, especially nowadays, you're going to need more liberal judges than you've ever had. I don't know how close we're going to get to that reality, but it's about to be some shit that's going to have to go through the court system in terms of legislation and policy and procedure. The courts is about to become rock stars because a lot of shit finna go to trial. It's about to, because a lot of shit is going to have to be challenged. You see what he's about. Ooh, shit, man. Y'all, did you look at his cabinet? Have you looked at his cabinet? Go and read their bios and where they come from and how they got their positions. This man is putting together the supreme team of racists. Like, Kamar, it's crazy, man. I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, ooh-wee. Man, he already on one. And I want to hear. I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear from you, Trump supporters. I want to hear from you. So, and that's real. I respect you. We had Orlando Owens on here. He gave his perspective. A lot of it was bullshit, but he gave his perspective. Kerry Walker said Republicans are running that $20 million in the ground, saying how she would have helped the economy. They voted for a man that filed bankruptcy. How many times? Once again, every time you say something that's pointed at her, there's automatically a pointer pointing back at him that he done the same or something worse. And the only reason I bring it up is because I believe in total accountability. We shouldn't hold one person more accountable than the other one because we like this person more than we like the other one. Oh, I like him because I'm not really clear. Oh, but people tell me he's a gangster. Uh-huh. He's a businessman, but I don't like her because she's not black. So, it is what it is. But yeah, man, I'm kind of tripping off the Walgreens closing. I'm looking at everything. I drive around the city, man, in my spare time because I really don't have a lot to do. So, when I'm off, I'm really off. So, like, I'll drive around and just look at the community, especially my old neighborhood, just to go through there and see is it being further developed? Is there an investment there? Is it? And I just see it. from the place that I knew, that I grew up in, it is a shadow of his former self. Like, even in terms of the investment of businesses, Atkinson is a ghost town. Like, our strip from Capitol all the way up to 8th, it used to be full of nothing but Black-owned businesses. I mean, for real. And then some Arabs came in and bought some things, and but it's gone. It's shit that was open for 30 and 40. Like, when I found out from Fletch that the karate school was closing, I'm like, that karate school has been there since I was 2 or 3 years old. And so I drive and I look at that and I just say, man, we are in some deep shit right now. Everything in this city that's supposed to serve us is broken. School system, law enforcement, our representation downtown. I say fiscal management, because we putting a lot in and ain't getting a lot out. So it's just a nervous, it's kind of like, oh shit. I'm trying to get a little bit further north, Kamar, just on the edge of the outskirts of the city. Like, I can walk out across the street and now be in Menominee Falls. Not because I believe white ice is greater, but I just need to distance myself from the coming chaos. You know what I mean? I need to be in a more isolated location where I can look out my window and it's space around me, as opposed to, damn, his house right there, his house. I need to be able to have a perimeter to guard. Like, oh, gun line, boss. Cross the gun line. I come on the loudspeaker like, you are in direct violation of my code of conduct. You are a trespasser. You have 5 seconds to leave. Right? I need to be able to do that shit. I didn't want to talk about this because tonight I didn't figure, because everything now that you hear, everything now is just Kamala, election. I just want to keep it to what the policies are when they start to come into play. So that's the only time you're going to hear us reference it. Once again, we're no longer talking about how she lost or why she lost, or, we're only going to talk about what the sitting president of the United States is about to do. That's all we're going to talk about. We didn't talk about the facts. But I did want to say, we talked about Quincy Jones. But did you see the story that Quincy Jones had 7 kids and he left each one of them $80 million as an inheritance?
I heard about that.
80 million a piece. Now that's legacy. That is my kids should be straight. Let somebody have one hell of a summer. Like, how you broke? You done smoked literally all the crack in the country. You smoked every rock in the country. Smoked $80 million worth of crack. I don't even know if that's possible, Kamar. I don't know if that's possible. Shit, you have a whole city on lock. Like, damn, this nigga smoking 20 a week. He's buying $20 million worth of crack a week. I'm just saying. When I seen that, I said, wow. That's what we should all aspire to. Being able to leave our children in a good position. You having your great grandkids one day see your picture somewhere and be like, Mama, who was that? Oh, that's your great granddaddy. Mm-hmm. He the reason why we got this house still. Unless they come burn all this shit down anyway. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's one hell of a legacy builder right there, man. I said, damn. Now I also got to ask you this. Have you heard this new Ice Cube?
No, I didn't.
Oh my goodness, man. I it's called My Ego, man. It is just ridiculously Ice Cube, like the Ice Cube that we liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just when you hear it, you say, oh, snap. From the beat to everything, his lyrics, and then the video look like it could be, you watch and be like, when this movie coming out? Because this shit gonna be funny.
He got a video for it too?
Yes, man. And they saying at this point, this is the biggest solo hit he's ever had in his career.
Wow.
It's on the charts. It's like on YouTube. It's like,
you know who else been coming hard as a motherfucker? E40. I've been catching some new stuff from him on YouTube, man. He been coming hard too.
E40 has never stopped making music.
Man, he ain't, man. And now he get the jack. At this point in his career, he get the jack on all the shit he done, who all he done rapped with, what song,
Always got new
all
music.
the big hit songs he done been on, the summer bangers, and
he always has some. E40 has to have more albums than any other rap. We got to put the Guinness to this because E40, man, seriously, like he is. And I see it, like I'm always on YouTube, so I'm like, E40, shit, for real, this is 9 days ago.
The young niggas want them on their shit.
Right. He go fuck with the young dudes, right? And
the young niggas want them.
For me, with Cube, though, it kind of broke down to because some of the conversations we talk about hip hop all the time, we get into these conversations about top 5 dead or alive, who's the greatest, who's the rawest, and who did this and who did that. And I just feel like we've taken Ice Cube for granted. In my top 5, it has always been a tie between Cube and Big Daddy Kane. Like I could never, but when it comes to volume, when it comes to longevity in terms of staying new, staying relevant with movies, TV shows, whatever, Ice Cube wins that hands down. There's nobody else, it's not even close. But in terms of just like the music, take all the other shit away, lyrical
and as far as we know, he's still solid through all this shit.
If you hear this song, you'll say, this.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about though? Like, as far like with all the Diddy shit going on, everybody looking at all the celebrities. As far as we know, Cube's solid.
No stories about him. Right. No freak off parties or nothing.
Straight up.
Yeah. You're right. I'm just saying, like, because people are now talking about, because I guess Snoop and Dr. Dre are about to release an album. What's it called? Missionary? Like, the part's supposed to be the follow-up to Doggy Style. And then the Dog Pound just made an album. They had a song on there produced by DJ Premier that I thought I'm surprised they didn't push it more. That shit, Who's the Hardest? That shit was the coldest. I said, that shit is too stupid. Mm-hmm. And then LL just made an album. And shout out to LL. I've never really, ever since Walking with a Panther, I ain't been to, and that tell you how old I am. That was like my favorite LL album, Walking with a Panther and shit. Like, so, I mean, he's LL, so he need my credit or whatever. But Q-Tip produced his latest album. I'm trying to find a safe spot in the production and the raps, because LL's hard, but he's old now, and Q-Tip's always been kind of hip hop, but a kind of like an alternative hip hop. Right. It was more like light jazz or something, but it's all right. But the whole point is they're saying the old school dudes now is like selling. They stay on tour and sell out more arenas than the young cats now. And so people are wondering, is this going to be some kind of revival of them being able to step in and mentor some of these young cats and put some quality back into the music. So like if you listen at the Cube song, some of the stuff he says just about current events, like it's still like Cube was always one who would throw a current event into his lyrics. Then he say, they asked me, do I like Arsenio? Well, that was when Arsenio was the man, right? And so Soul Train unlost their soul. Just call it Train because the bitches look like hoes. Soul Train was still on television. So when you hear him on this rhyme talking about, I smack your ass like Will did Chris, give a demonstration in front of the nation. Like he's just, I mean, he samples Love and Happiness by Al Green, but he got a verse that says, tell Al Green to pass the grits. And so if you know what happened to Al Green with the hot grits, man, it's just, I like lyrics, man. I like, when somebody drop a clever one, I'll be like, oh, that was kind of dope how you dropped that in there. So yeah, man, if you an old head like myself, man, now the album is called Man Down, and I don't know how the whole album gonna sound, but if he coming like he came on this ego shit, I'm telling you, this shit gonna be a jewel, because it's gonna be like, man, finally some hip hop that's new, that's built on the same ideologies that it was when I was listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of like what I've been wanting from hip hop for a long time. Like, man, I need for them dudes to get back on it and make it like it used to be instead of this carbon carbon copy cookie cutter shit that we hear nowadays on the radio. Everybody auto tune. God damn, what you gonna do if you go somewhere and your computer ain't working? Ain't no telling what they real voice sound like and shit. I might hear you auto tune. Dion says he forgot that they were an hour ahead of us, and we're not gonna be on long tonight because, like I said, it's not a whole lot going on. We've discussed some important things from Milwaukee. We've gave our condolences for people who've lost because we know that Tuesday was a crazy day. And Miss Mama Jenkins said, it's amazing that we're still in Milwaukee in jeopardy. Our lives are in jeopardy when we're just driving down the street because we still got this crazy mentality of I'm gonna run from the police, or let's just have a shootout in the middle of the day and one car's running from another one and run into an intersection and kill a 60-year-old man and hurt a bunch of other people. Like, this is 2024 and it's still what we own. Yep. It's what we own still. So, it ain't a whole lot to talk about. I'd love to, touch base with y'all. I would ask that you all just share our show. We don't really, just share our show. Like I said, I understand more and more that our show is more underground. It's a Black thing. So if it's not pertinent to Black people or relevant to us, we typically don't even talk about the shit. So there is a group of people that rock with us, which I appreciate. But then there's, some resistance from the mainstream. Although I can say sooner or later, our format will be copied by somebody else who'll try to do it mainstream, but it won't work. You can cook the same dish, but you don't have the same ingredients. So it ain't going to taste the same. You can say this spaghetti. Everybody's spaghetti ain't equal, right? Like, right. It is horrible. For some people, you be like, this shit fire as a motherfucker, man.
The ingredients, but the sauce just ain't going to be the same.
Right, it just ain't going to be saucing. Come on. It ain't going to be saucing. What you got coming up this weekend, man?
We got the Winter Farmers Market Saturday on 53rd and Capitol at the table. We got a lot of vendors in there. We got vendors with greenhouses, farmers that can come through in the wintertime, still get you some fresh vegetables. Okay. If you got food stamps, you bring $20, they're gonna give you $60 to spend. So yeah, come on up there. And you could get your vitality and your products with your food stamps up there. You know what I mean? Just trade them in for the coins and you could come get your products.
Yeah.
53rd and Capitol. Saturday, 9 to 2.
53rd and Capitol, you said.
Yep, at the table. It's a big, it's an old church. Used to be a church.
Yeah, I know exactly what it was. Kuji Caligula or something like that.
Yeah, the Kuji Chagalia. It's called the table now.
Okay.
It's like a vocational school.
Oh, so it's a school.
Yeah, where they teach kids different stuff, cooking classes, all type of different stuff in there.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Y'all
gardening, all that.
Yeah, that's valuable. That's something we need. That's what we gonna need to learn how to grow some shit. Yeah, you gonna learn today. It's just I'm chilling, man. My prayers go to my wife's family. My mother-in-law is very, very ill. And let me say this. I lost my father in March of 1999. I lost my mom in December of 2006. Losing a parent or even watching your parent, like, Father Time is undefeated. So when we get old, it's just natural for us to start breaking down. And it's torture for you to see your parent go through that, right? And I feel so bad for my brother-in-laws and my sister-in-laws and my wife and my father-in-law and my kids, just because of the condition. I put her GoFundMe up on in the People's News Network and on my page. I'm gonna put it up again. And I can honestly tell you, my mother-in-law was one of the truest people I've ever met, one of the most generous people I've ever met. A lot of brothers, when they get married, I can't stand my mother-in-law. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that experience. My mother-in-law was just sweet and nice, and she's really, she said, I'm a woman of God. She really was that. And so she's ill, and my wife is up there with her at this point. just to watch the grieving process, man. Because I'm watching my wife, and I told her, I said, I know exactly how you feel, because you feel so helpless, man. Because there's nothing you can do, and you looking at it, you want to say, "Mama, get up." You know what I'm saying? Pops, get up. Like, but it's part of life, man. But it is so hard, and it's so painful, and man, it takes you. I know it took me a good to totally, and I can't even say I'm totally over it, but I think my coping skills have strengthened to the point where I got strong enough to move forward. You know what I'm saying? But it took me a good 5-6 years, Kamar, where I just wasn't.
Definitely.
At least one time a day, it wasn't coming in my head like.
I get it. You know, my mother passed 3 months before I had to turn myself into prison.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So like, and it was crazy, man, because you know, right after she passed, you know, and everybody, they meant well. Everybody kept me busy, kept me going here, going there, doing this, doing that, and figuring they keeping me busy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to really grieve so hard or whatever they was thinking. But you know, the problem was I had to go to prison. Now I'm sober in this motherfucker, right? And I got to figure this shit out. So you know what I mean? I get it, man. You know what I mean? I went through a lot too. And I don't care whatever situation you in, like, it's never easy for nothing like that. I don't care how good you're doing in life. You know what I mean? It's never easy. It's almost like the world is over. You know what I mean? Until you can figure out how to get past it and continue on every day.
It's definitely a dark place to be in. Like, I'm telling you, that is the closest for me personally. That's the closest I ever been to really just like losing it. Like, just because I was on the verge of just saying, not suicidal, but just like I couldn't find a reason. I couldn't find a reason to even be motivated for a long time. When my mother was alive, I was super, super, super motivated because I wanted to keep showing her that I'm doing well and taking care of her, because I got a chance to. I was doing real well financially. I was able to take care of her, give her what she wanted. I made sure anything she asked for was there. But it didn't at that time when it finally came. Money couldn't prevent it. And you know, it's nothing I could do. It was just being like the ultimate helpless feeling, like I am helpless. And then you just go through in your memory all of the stuff, all of the memories, all of the lessons, and your mother is probably, especially if you got a good one, she's probably the only person that will ever love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
Everybody else has conditions with their love. I don't give a fuck what they tell you. Go out there and fuck up. Your ass will be put out quick. Your mama's always the one who, when the whole world was against you, she say, "Come on home, baby. Come on home." You know, and she gonna sit you down and tell you what you did wrong, but she gonna say, "Mama ain't gonna never give up on you." And you know, you just don't get that. You don't ever, and I don't expect that from anybody.
Nah, hey man, it'd be unfair to expect that from somebody.
Yes.
And you know, I just did a video today, man, about expectations. That's funny you said that. You know what I mean? Like, cause see, expectations, man, can ruin your happiness. You know what I mean? Like having expectations of other people, expecting people to be as real as you. You know what I'm saying? Expecting people to do like you would do. You know what I mean? Like all this can affect your happiness because people always will let you down for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the point where it's like, even when you're in a relationship, it get hard sometimes because now it's like you got somebody in your life who done been there for you through multiple different situations, and you done grew to depend on them. And because you could depend on them, you start expecting stuff. You know what I mean? So like, I think at some point, man, you know what I mean? We have to learn how to let go of expectations so much of others and situations, because we expect different situations to go the way that we would like them to go. You know what I'm saying? And then when it don't go like you want it to go, and now it feel like the world crumbling. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to learn how to get a hold and probably keep our expectations in the grass. And you know what I mean? That could be a big issue with this election too. You know what I'm saying? The expectations that a lot of Black people had. And then now, you know what I'm saying? People feeling bad, feeling defeated. And, you know what I mean? We saw it the next morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, expectations is a motherfucker, man. We just have to figure out how to get a hold on that, man, for that internal happiness.
Yeah, and sometimes your road to redemption is based around the fact that instead of being disappointed in somebody, you should be, like you just said, saying, why did I expect that from them anyways? Like, that's actually my fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have to really empower myself so that I won't be as dependent. And that's also why, no matter what kind of relationship you are in, you always have to maintain some sense of self.
Right.
You can never 100% throw yourself into no relationship and say, I give myself to you.
In any kind of relationship.
You know what I'm saying?
Any kind of relationship. You got to make that clear. Because it could be a business relationship. You know what I mean? It could be a friendship. It could be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gotta watch that. Learn how to watch it at least.
Yeah, man. It's management. It's life management, bro. And it's emotional maturation. And like I said, I will never forget, and I can cherish, because around the holidays, I'm always I had a bad habit of, you know, since my mom's passed right after Christmas, I just couldn't. I looked at Christmas kind of like I dreaded it. And then some told me one day, like, dude, you still got 2 little kids that look forward to that every day. How dare you deprive them of their happiness because you dwelling on some selfish shit? You know what I'm saying? So it kind of helped me move forward to say, hey, man, what would she really want me to do? She would want me to continue to strive, you know? And I can hear my mother clear as day in my head saying, look, I done lived my life, baby. I had my mother tell me that, hey, don't worry about me. I done had a whole hell of a life. You better go ahead and live yours.
Straight up.
So, yeah, man. Not to get too sentimental on y'all, but it's just, man, I'm just like, just my heart is with the Cole family in Minnesota, man. And Dr. Christine Cole, that's my mother-in-law's name, man. She's one of the best people I've ever met. I've met some people in my life who were shining examples of, you know, what generosity and what, you know, sincerity is. My Aunt Dolly, anybody who ever met her, I've never heard anybody say even anything kind of foul about it. Everybody said, "Oh man, you had to love Aunt Dolly." And my mother-in-law is another one where you just say, "Man, how could you?" That's good people right there, man. That's good. Like it's like I said, man, it wasn't always sunny between me and her daughter. But she never jumped in like, yeah, you do. She always like, well, baby, y'all gonna have to figure it out. That's what marriage is, baby. Y'all got to figure it out. It's like, okay. So yeah, man. Carrie Walker Jones, she's agreeing with you. She said, I was relieved of a lot of stress when I learned to stop expecting things. I mean, there's okay to have some expectations. Like I expect you to respect me. I expect you to look out for me.
Really? Hold on, though. But can you really expect somebody else to respect you? Because, like, they live in their life, right?
Right.
I can't expect it.
That's a good point.
Because then when you find out they don't respect you, now you got a problem with them.
Well, what I do is just move away from them.
Right, but I'm for the most part. You know what I mean? Now we got a problem with them.
Right. I don't fuck with dude.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I mean, you know,
now how about this on the other hand? Expectations of ourselves. We should have. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I don't want to let myself down.
Right.
Do I love myself enough to not let myself down? Am I going to go get what I need to get? Expectations of myself is different.
That is, but okay, so what I'm hearing you say, and I guess the way I kind of meant it was, there's a standard that I've set for me when it comes to anybody that I'm going to deal with.
Right.
You know, there's a standard of, if you don't respect me, I'm not dealing with you. Right.
I got you.
My expectation is
if we're cool,
cool, I do it. Like if I know you and you know me, I do expect like, but now when you don't, I can deal with it. I can say, oh, see that motherfucker, you know, that's it. That's, you know, lesson learned.
You know, and that's where that emotional IQ come in at too.
Yeah.
I know better than to get upset at that. You know what I'm saying?
He just being him. That alligator didn't go crazy. He went alligator.
Right. You know what I'm saying? The snake was snaking. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, snake bit me. No, the snake did what snakes do. They don't have hands. He couldn't punch you. He was bite your motherfucking ass. So, it's just, it's once again, as you get older, you get wiser. And so it should reflect in how you behave and how you carry yourself. So even in going into relationships, and like I said, just having I think, realistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would at least hope you just didn't like punch me in the face. I expect you not to physically abuse me, but somebody will do it. At that point, you got a choice to make. Like, I'm leaving this motherfucker. Or you can say,
a measure of self-love is how you allow people to treat you.
Yeah.
Like, I love myself too much to allow you to treat me this way.
There's that standard. Yeah. She said empathy is also important.
Definitely.
Hey, man. You know what? I tell men all the time, like, not to be sensitive, but I think you got to be aware. Mm-hmm. It might mean the same thing to some people. To me, it's different. I feel like like everything that I see, like I'm not, but I see things that I'm aware of. Like, okay. Just like with the Trump thing.
Right. I could put myself in somebody's position and feel bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I can do that. You know what I mean? So now I even treat them different because I understand more. You know what I mean? And usually empathy can come with understanding of somebody.
Sometimes I feel sorry for people who don't like me because I know the fact that they don't like me is because of whatever situation they got going. And it might be a situation where it's like, man, I wish I had that kind of peace, man. Fuck dude. And I won't use the word jealousy because I don't believe in that word. I believe envy is a little bit more relevant than jealousy because I don't think the average person said, I want what Kev got. But sometimes it just be like, shit, this dude, he ain't all the problems I got. He ain't, well, it ain't my time because I'll go through some shit too. And I'll go through it when you ain't going through it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ebb and flow, man. You have just been witness to the yin and the yang with Kamar and Kevin on a Wednesday night. I'm joking around, man. Listen, man, y'all be safe. Man, hug your kids, talk to your kids. I always think about Pimp C on one day when he said, if you got kids, show them you love them because God just might call them home. Because one day they here and baby, the next day they gone. I think about that all the time. So every time I have a conversation with my son, I know he think daddy getting old. And hey, man, I love you and I'm proud of you. My daughter, I love you, baby, and I'm proud of you. Because I don't want them ever to be like, my daddy never told me he loved me. He never hugged me. He never told me he was proud of me. I always want that to be a part of our relationship. So love on your kids, man. Try to love something. It's so easy to hate everything now. The media, social media, everything feeds you hate, angst, anger, anxiety, stress, strife, and conflict. Try to find somewhere in there where you can find a little peace, man, and get a little downtime, man. And, I'm like I said, when I'm solo, I think probably best. And so I get a lot of thinking done. And so, I would just say give yourself some space, man. Shout out to you, Kamar. Shout out to anybody who's listening. Please share the show. More importantly, man, don't speak about it, be about it. Don't just keep talking a good game. Get off your ass and get involved. Because if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to the community, you the coon. I'll see you Monday night, man. Peace and love.
Peace.